All right, let's talk about a feature that is an absolute lifesaver for any network, but one that, often gets completely overlooked. It's called DHCP failover, and you can really think of it as this amazing insurance policy that you probably already have. You just need to turn it on. So let me just ask you this straight up. In your entire network, with all of its firewalls, switches, and servers, what's the one thing, the single component, that could bring everything to a crashing halt if it just stopped?
I'll give you a hint. It's probably not the most expensive or flashiest piece of kit you own. Nope. It's something way more fundamental, kind of hiding in plain sight, doing its job silently every single day. Well, until it doesn't.
And that right there, that's the core of the problem. We can think of it as the network's ticking clock. Because without this one critical service, your network is basically just living on borrowed time.
And that service? It's your DHCP server. It's kind of like the front desk manager for your entire network. Every time a new device shows up, a laptop, your phone, even a printer, it's the DHCP server that greets it and says, here's your unique IP address, welcome to the party. Without that address, that device can't talk to anything. It's just stuck.
So what happens when that single server goes down? Well, it's chaos. Any new device trying to get on the network can't. Any existing devices, well, eventually their lease on their IP address will expire and they'll get kicked off too. It's this quiet, cascading failure that creates a massive outage, all from one single point.
But here's the good news. There is a built-in backup plan. It's designed specifically to prevent this exact nightmare scenario, and it's a core feature in Windows Server.
And that plan is DHCP failover. The whole idea is brilliantly simple. Instead of relying on just one server, you use two. These two servers are constantly talking, constantly synchronized, sharing all the lease information and settings automatically. And just like that, you've eliminated that single point of failure and kept your network humming along.
Now, when you go to set this up, you're not just getting a simple backup copy. You actually get to choose between two really smart strategies, or flavors, if you will, for how these servers are going to work together. So you've got two main options here. First up is hot standby mode. The best way to think of this is like an understudy in a Broadway show. You have one primary server doing all the work, handing out all the IPs, while the partner just waits in the wings, ready to jump on stage the instant the main one has a problem. Then you've got load balance mode. This one is more like a tag team. Both servers are active, both are in the ring, sharing the job of handing out all the IP addresses. And this load balance mode is actually really cool because it actively distributes all the requests. By default, it sets up this perfect 50-50 split, so each server handles exactly half the workload. That doesn't just give you failover protection, it also makes sure that one server doesn't get totally overwhelmed during a really busy time.
Okay, so there are two key settings that really make this all work so smoothly. The first one is called the Maximum Client Lead Time, or MCLT. Just think of it as a grace period. It's the maximum amount of time one server can give out a lease before it absolutely has to update its partner. This simple rule is what keeps them perfectly in sync.
And to make sure all that communication is totally secure, the two servers use what's called a shared secret. Honestly, you can just think of it as a password or maybe even a secret handshake. It's a really simple but super effective way to make sure the two partners trust each other and that no rogue server can get in on the conversation. So you put all these pieces together, and what's the payoff? Well, for any network admin out there, it's a huge one. Massive amounts of uptime with a surprising amount of simplicity.
It really adds up to a triple win. First, you get that high availability and redundancy that you absolutely need. Second, the setup is actually simple. It's wizard-driven, so you're not going to be wrestling with some complex configuration for days. And the third win? Well, that's the result of the first two. Drastically reduced downtime and, of course, continuous network operations. Because ultimately, what DHCP failover delivers is pretty simple. Uninterrupted service. Period. It turns a potential crisis into a total non-event that your users will never ever even notice happened. As we start to wrap this up, it's really important to look at the bigger picture here. This isn't just about one little feature, It's about a fundamental principle of modern, resilient IT design. So, the crucial point really is this. Redundancy is not a luxury. It's not a nice to have. It's the absolute foundation of a reliable network. In a world that runs on 24/7 connectivity, building in these kinds of safety nets is simply non-negotiable. And that really leaves us with one final question for you to think about. Your entire network, your business, your users, they all run on availability.
So if you found and eliminated your network's most dangerous single point of failure.